Hello everyone. I wanted to lead you through a little bit of theory. This is about the systems of language that help our students create meaning, which is really the goal of reading. The idea of comprehension is at the center of everything we do. This chart will show you visually how the theory came together. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you will see that this theory was created by Dorothy Watson, Carolyn Burke, and Yetta Goodman in 1983. What they thought about was how linguistic and pragmatic systems come together to help readers create meaning. There are two linguistic systems and two pragmatic systems that all lead to the bullseye of meaning. The linguistic systems are grammar and simple sound, and the pragmatic systems are the context of the situation and prior knowledge. So I'm going to lead you through this presentation to show you how all of those have to work to create meaning for the student. This, of course, is also why reading is really difficult. It's a combination of systems that allows a student to be successful. One thing that I would like for you to note, however, are the capital letters at the lower left-hand corner of your screen that say culture. One thing that Watson, Burke, and Goodman strongly believed in was that culture, a student's culture in any way we'd like to define it, will influence both the linguistic and pragmatic systems. So that will be important as we go through. So graphophonic or simple sound cues are the things that we learn as very young children when we're putting symbols and sounds together. So if you heard a student say, one of my favorite hobbies is riding horses, that would make sense. But if you were listening to a child read to you and they said, one of my favorite hobbies is writing houses, then you would recognize that a simple sound cue has been interrupted. In this case, a student would have put a U in the case of the R, for houses instead of horses, and you would understand that that would be a brief interruption in that student's understanding. This is often seen in children who are identified with dyslexia, and so what we're finding now in Springfield Public Schools and surrounding districts is more of a move to test children for dyslexia pretty early in grades K, 1, 2, or 3 to try to mitigate some of these changes that we see in the simple sound cue to get students off to the right foot. The next part of the linguistic system is grammar, also known as syntactic clues. This is where, of course, everything we know about diagramming sentences from our old days comes in handy. So if you saw these blanks, you probably would say something like, the sheep jumps over the fence. But if you were to replace that verb with a noun and replace the noun with a verb, the sheep jackets over the frolicked, you would know that that would be difficult. This is not making sense in our English language because we recognize that in the sentence above with the blanks, we have to have the verb followed by the noun as part of the prepositional phrase that starts with the word over. As you can imagine, sometimes our students who are seeking meaning, who are English language learners, sometimes get tripped up on the syntactic clues. This is simply because we have other languages that move words around in order. And so this is a really great place to start in helping students who are learning English as a second or third language come to recognition of how these syntactic clues work in English. This helps them. So the most obvious example that most of you probably know is in the Spanish language, the adjective and the noun are switched. So in English, we have the adjective before the noun, and in Spanish, you have the noun before the adjective. This is a very easy example of how syntactic clues can interrupt meaning. So then you have semantic clues. This is just simply what creates meaning for the reader in general. So you could say something like, the people follow the minister into the church or into the chapel. We are using our cultural and background knowledge to establish this for our own selves as readers. But if you were to hear a student say something like, the people followed the minister into the checkout lane, while that is certainly possible, that would mean that there's probably a little bit of a loss of meaning, especially if the child is reading something that is more about the setting that a minister would typically be found in. And so again, we're listening for these things as we have students read to us because we're trying to check out and see what's happening with their meaning as they read to us, and we try to figure out what they know and what they may not know. So getting back to this guide, it's a good way to help you think about where the interruptions of meaning may occur. In our class together, we're going to find strategies that will help you with each one of these pieces. We're thinking about simple sound, we're thinking about grammar, which leads to meaning, but then we also think about the pragmatic systems. So to lead you to the next little bit of information, I want to dive into the context of situation. So when we think about the context of the situation, this comes into prior knowledge and what we know about the world around us. And so most of us probably have heard the story of Mary and her lamb. So Mary had a little lamb, and then most of you are probably thinking its fleece was white as snow. But what's really interesting is that we can change the context a little bit, and Mary and her lamb take on a little bit of a different meaning. So think about it this way. Mary had a little lamb. She spilled gravy and mint jelly on her dress. Well, in this case, she had a little lamb, but it was for dinner. It was not her pet. It was not part of a nursery rhyme. It was something that she was eating. And so we've now switched the context of the situation. I'll switch it on you one more time. Mary had a little lamb. The delivery was a difficult one, and afterwards the vet needed a drink. So in this case, Mary is the mother lamb, and then she had a little lamb of her own. As you can see, changing the context in each three of those situations is really important for students to know. Are they reading a nursery rhyme? Are they reading about a dinner menu? Are they reading a vet manual? There are a lot of ways to think about this, and it helps us see why prior knowledge and context of the situation are so very, very important. So please keep these in mind as you are thinking about everything that we're reading. Burke, if you're wondering, is the author of the Burke Reading Interview that you might have previewed in our course. Carolyn Burke has been known for her research in literacy for decades, created an interview that you all will conduct with the struggling reader a little bit later on in this course. These three women collectively have really helped us consider how culture impacts both linguistic and pragmatic processes. And if you will take all of these into consideration as you're reading about strategies, I know you'll be off to a great start in helping your students succeed.